Welcome to the Aquaflow Crypto Lab. I'm making this video to share an update of the current situation. The title of my last video was Bulls Need to Step Up Now. Why am I saying this? And by the way, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So, last week, Bitcoin was crossing the cloud line. Do you remember? The cloud line is the line in white. So far, this line has been very accurate. It can be considered as the general trend of Bitcoin over the years. You don't believe me? Let's take a step back. As you can see, if we wanted to show the evolution of Bitcoin with one unique line, it would be the cloud line. The first thing that you can notice is the volatility of Bitcoin around this line, okay? In the past, we were below it at the very beginning of Bitcoin, then above it with huge volatility, okay? Because if you measure the distance between the line and the price of Bitcoin, it was huge. But over time, you see that the volatility reduces, right? Because we have less and less distance between the cloud line and the major swing points of Bitcoin. And you see that Bitcoin can be below the line and above the line, but at some point we always go back to the cloud line. As you can see, we go back to it. We cross it, we go back to it. We cross it, we go back to it again and again. We cross it, we go back to it. And that's why you can consider this line as the general trend of Bitcoin, because we always go back to it. Is it clear? Now let's talk about the blue zone and the red zone. You see that every time that the price crosses the cloud line to the red zone, we have a capitulation. We have a new bottom for Bitcoin. It was the case here. It was the case here. We bounce, but we don't cross it if you have a closer look. We bounce once, we bounce twice, we bounce again, and then we cross it and we have a new bottom. And here it was a confluence point. Here again, look, we have a strong bounce, we have two bounces, but we cross it, and a few weeks later, we have a new bottom for Bitcoin, and it was a confluence point again. And right now, let's see what's going on. We know that we had a bottom, a local bottom for Bitcoin around this area, and we had a nice bounce from it. We even made a higher high compared to this high. But last week, we had a very strong warning. Why? Because we crossed the cloud line. And to make it official that we are below the cloud line, we need this candle to close below the cloud line. If Bitcoin is able to close above, it would mean that we are able to bounce from the cloud line, and it would be an early sign that the market wants to go up. However, for the moment, as you can see, we are using the cloud line as a resistance. This is not good. We cross it here, then we retest the cloud line to see if it is a resistance or not. And so far, it is a resistance, okay? So this is a warning. We don't want to see this. We want to see Bitcoin going above the cloud line by the end of the week. Currently, the cloud line is around $38,200. So we want Bitcoin to close above this price. In addition, I want to add something. We know for a fact that Bitcoin doesn't spend a lot of time below the aqua line. Let's have a look in the past. You'll see what I'm talking about. You see that from here, we used the aqualine as a resistance every time. We have a weak, but we have a strong bounce. We have a weak, but we have a strong bounce. And every time it's the same thing. Bitcoin doesn't go below the aqualine. You see the line in blue? We have a strong bounce, a bounce, a bounce, a bounce here, and it was the very bottom of Bitcoin. Here it was a strong bounce. Even if we pierced it, we even have a candle closing below the aqualine, but it didn't stay for too long below it, because then we have a strong bounce. Okay? And recently we had a local Bitcoin bottom, and we bounced once, 2, 3, 4 times from the aqualine. This is showing us that this is a very strong support. And I know that a lot of people are calling for a Bitcoin around $20,000. It's possible, but first we have to cross the aqualine. And right now the aqualine is pretty close from us. What does it mean? It means that if Bitcoin wants to go lower than this, first we need the aqualine to go lower than this. This means that it shouldn't happen now. We need some time to have the aqualine first going down, getting closer to the golden line, to have a chance to see Bitcoin around this area. But anyway, even if we see that Bitcoin is piercing the aqualine, we know that usually we get a strong bounce from the aqualine. So we need to be patient to see what's coming. Also, I want to say that we have a strong area of confluence with the golden line, which is catching every Bitcoin bottom since the beginning of Bitcoin. It is amazingly accurate, guys. Look, bottom, bottom, bottom again, the bottom, and here we know that if Bitcoin is going down, it should be the bottom of Bitcoin again. And right now it is around $12,000. So to sum it up, we know that we have the cloud line, we crossed it, now we are using it as a resistance. This is a sign for a bear market, but at the same time, the aqualine is pretty close from us, so we know that if we touch it, we should have a nice bounce from it. Of course, everything is possible. I don't claim to be right. I just try to anticipate the next moves of the market. And if, and only if, Bitcoin starts going lower, I know what my target is, and this is all I need. Please let me know below what is your strategy if we ever go down. Now let's move to XRP. This will be quick because XRP situation is pretty similar to the one from Bitcoin. But from my point of view, it's a little bit more bearish. As you can see, we have a very strong resistance in red for XRP, and this is pushing us to the downside. As you know, in blue we have the bull bear market line, and we crossed it a few weeks ago, and ever since we've been using it as a resistance. It was the case here, you can see the week. It was the case here also, you can see the week, and we got rejected. And right now we are using the 180 weeks exponential moving average as a strong support. As you know, this line is very important for XRP because in the past we used it as a very strong support. So as I said at the beginning of the video, bulls needs to step up now, and this is exactly what we saw so far. We touched the line once, we had a bounce. We touched it again, we had another bounce. This proves us that this line is a very strong support, and I'm not going to lie to you, this line is holding my hope for XRP. By the way, let me know in the comments if you still believe in the project, if you still believe in XRP, or if you have other investments. And on this channel, I'm going to start talking about other coins, so if you have a list for me, let me know below. Well, back to XRP. So, we had a very strong resistance in red. We have this support, and we know that we crossed the bull bear market line. Also, I want you to pay attention to one thing. We have lower highs and higher lows. You see that this stopped us from making a new low for XRP, because we know that if we make a new low, it would mean that we reversed the trend. Right now, XRP is in a tight place. It's getting closer and closer to a decision point, but it doesn't look good. Why? Because we are also below the bull bear market band. You know, this band is changing every week. This week, this is the band, okay? And as you can notice, the band is pretty far from us. The very bottom of the band is at $0.76. This is pretty far away from us. We have a lot of work to make it up to this line. And after this, we still have a lot of resistances to make it back above the bull bear market line. But as long as the price stays below the bull bear market line in blue, we are in a bear market. I know that it's hard to hear, but we have to be honest. And one thing is sure on this channel, I am never going to lie to you. And remember that every time that prices go down, it's a new opportunity to buy at a lower price. Now the question is, do you still believe in XRP? And you have to answer to this question. But whatever the coins that you invested in, if you believe in the project, remember, when the price goes down, it's a new opportunity for you. So let me know what you're doing in these difficult moments. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like the content. If you didn't subscribe to the channel, please subscribe, guys, okay? So that's all for today's video. It's time to leave the crypto lab. Thanks for watching. Do not ever be afraid to make new experiments, and if someone tells you you're crazy, just tell them. Time will tell.